It's the holiday season, which also means it's fraud season. And I'm not talking about consumer fraud. Today on Dumb Money, we're talking about investment fraud, Ponzi schemes, that sort of thing, and how to avoid them. Today we have a Dumb Money mystery on our hands.
My house, an unlocked safe, and a giant Ponzi scheme.
What?
On today's episode, for the first time, I'll reveal how I fell victim to a financial Ponzi scheme that cost me $35,000. You'll want to see today's episode till the very end because Jordan, under the most random of all circumstances, has uncovered but not yet opened a piece of Ponzi scheme history in his own house.
But first, being the pseudo-local celebrities that we are, we have to go have our photo taken for the local magazine. Maybe this will be the article that finally gets my Wikipedia page started. The gang's all here.
Tell us about your blog. You're blowing up, Dave.
My subscriber count has doubled in the past 3 weeks.
You're not allowed to go viral without...
Our channel's also going viral.
Dave has his own channel, Hey There, Dave Here. It actually
Which
was around
existed before Dumb Money.
So
I had 1,000 subscribers, and then this channel hit 30,000 subscribers.
and then Dave went viral this week and has picked up 10,000 subscribers in 3 days.
I made a video about the Apple Card, and my subscribers doubled. And I'm like, well, people like credit card videos. So then I made another video about credit cards, and Graham Stephan saw it, and he did a reaction video on his second channel.
This guy's production quality is through the roof. Just everything about his setup, I think, is perfect.
If you haven't seen it, go to Hey There, Dave Here and check out his Black Centurion
It's
card.
the Centurion card from American Express.
Today's episode is about financial fraud and pyramid schemes and how I got caught up in one and the money that I lost.
And some investments that I've been involved in that I'm not sure were truly intentional fraud, but that ended up being very fraud-like.
And Jordan, you're the most casual person I've ever met. So casual that he just casually mentions to us a couple weeks ago that one of the largest pyramid schemes in the history of this country originated by a person that used to live in his home. Before we get into this crazy situation that's happening,
I want to talk about this
that's
now.
happening in your bedroom closet in a hidden safe, I'm going to say right now that I don't think there's anyone else that's better today at sniffing out this type of fraud than us. And we're going to not only go over the time that I got caught up in one of these schemes, but the schemes that we've avoided where other investors have invested millions of dollars and we have sniffed them out and how we do that. That's all coming on today's episode. I am starving. We got to get lunch. I think most people think of pyramid schemes as something that grandmas get caught up into, right? And the one thing that no one ever talks about is if you invest in enough deals, at least opportunistically the way we do, it's just a matter of time. You are going to get caught up in a fraud at some point because you can't possibly vet every single deal to the extent that you need to be 100% sure that it's either not a fraud before it started or won't turn into one. And the story that I am going to tell is a story that I think started as a legitimate company, as a legitimate investment that evolved into a pyramid scheme over time. Do you remember the tire deal?
Definitely
We
remember
talked
your
about it
tire
a
deal.
little bit over the years.
Because it wasn't just you, right?
Oh no. Here's what's amazing. There were several tire schemes going around the city, all coming out of one person initially. One of Dallas's largest attorneys was actually involved in the scheme itself, which is part of the reason why everyone was so comfortable investing in the scheme. I think they ended up raising somewhere between 10 and $15 million that got caught up in this, and virtually no one that was involved in the scheme has publicly came out and said, I got defrauded. Why? They're all wealthy, they're all professionals, they're all well known for the most part. Who wants to admit that? That's embarrassing, right? This scheme revolved around not just regular tires. You know those monstrously big tires that they use on the mining trucks? They are made on such limited volume production lines. The cost of these tires range from $10,000 a tire to in some cases $100,000 a tire. When we had a boom 8-9 years ago, we had this major manufacturing boom in mining. There was a legitimate tire shortage. So if you had these tires, people were willing to pay on the secondary market 2, 3, 4 times what the tire was worth because the cost of not being able to operate was well exceeded the cost of the tires, right? So what caught me up in the scheme is that there was a legitimate story that made absolute sense in that the person we were investing with, he had relationships with the tire manufacturers so that when someone canceled their order, rather than them sending that order to the next person on the list, he would basically purchase the order from them because he knew he could immediately sell those tires for double, triple, or quadruple the price.
But that's the thing about these scams. They all have a story that is completely believable.
They've got some edge that nobody else has.
You're getting an inside connection into something, you're allowed to invest in something, you're going to make money that nobody else has access to. That's the beginning of every single fraud story.
But it gets better than that. My friend, who I won't disclose who he is, he's a friend of all of ours, he had been investing with this guy for over a year. And he had done 6 or 7 of these tire deals and I think he made $300,000 or $400,000 in profit off these tire deals. He was killing it. And I had been listening to him for about a year. Every time he get in one of these tire deals, I eventually said, I want in. Introduce me to this guy.
If you watch American Greed, you also know that the story is have some early success, have someone in the network being able to say, yes, it worked for me, I made money. Once he started inviting a few more investors in, boom, now we have the tipping point for fraud.
The red flag should have started going off when I went to the guy's office over at, I think, like one of these local airports, wearing a huge gold Rolex. Just that initial gut instinct was shady. I went through with it because I saw my friend making all this money. All these big people were getting involved in Dallas, right?
How much did you invest?
$150,000. 6 months came and went pretty quickly and nothing happened. In that range of time, that this global commodity market started to fall apart. They didn't want to admit to this market falling apart. They kept raising more money, buying more tires in a down market.
Now they have a warehouse full of tires that they can't move.
But then they stopped buying tires, but they kept collecting money to buy new tires.
That's where the crime started.
So here's the deal. We were all checking on the tires. Are the tires really there? Everything seemed legit. But how many other people bought those same individual tires? I didn't realize that 6 other groups of investors bought the same tires that we bought. I told everyone in our investor group, he's a fraud. We got to take action right now. And nobody wanted to believe me. Everyone was like, no
because
way.
They want to believe that they're about to make double or triple their money and they're not going to take a loss the way you did.
So I was about to start all kinds of trouble. Another friend of mine said, I'll buy you out at a discount. I'll buy you out. I was like, you're going to buy these fraudulent tires? I'm telling you it's fraud and you want to buy it? It's like, I'll take the risk. I know these guys really well now. I sold my $150,000 share of the tires for $115,000, taking a $35,000 loss. But I got $115,000 back. Well, now
that was the best move you ever made.
5 years later, I think it's been 5 years, something crazy. The FBI is involved now. No one's gotten any of their money out of it. The people involved have disappeared off the face of the earth. They were kind of these hybrid guys where they kind of had a legit business, but as soon as it went bad, they were more than happy to defraud everyone involved, right? This happens all the time.
Pyramid schemes and Ponzi schemes, the early people do actually make money. It actually is a good investment until it isn't. One of you was involved in the oil well project.
We didn't know that was a fraud.
No, I have no idea. To this day, I do not know if I lost my money or...
Oh, we lost some money.
We're obviously in Dallas, Texas, but we are not oil guys. We don't invest in energy or, for the most part, commercial real estate, which is what everyone does here. But we've been around it for 20 some odd years. We put in 10,000 each into a wildcat oil well.
But my favorite part is every step along the way, you get an email. It's like,
more money.
We hit this problem. We need to raise more money. And the way it works is you either put more money in or you lose all of the investment you've made so far. It could have been legit. It could have just been bad luck with an oil well. But I stopped paying and lost my money after maybe 2 of those capital calls.
Can we say something for sure? We're not investing in oil wells ever again.
It's one of those things, you don't invest in things you don't understand.
And that brings us to the deal that I knew nothing about, but one of the biggest Ponzi schemes of all time. The guy who started it used to live in your house.
Yeah.
This is insane. I can't even believe what you're about to say right now, okay?
Here's the story. So I was like working in my office in my house, and somebody knocked on the door and started asking for a guy named Jay. And I told him that there was not a J here, so he started asking information about me. And I was like, who are you asking about again? And so I got the full name, Jay Ledford. And so I looked it up on the internet, and all I found were like the SEC court documents. They stole $500 million.
I researched these guys. They started raising money for basically a debt fund where they were going to buy bad debt and then collect the interest payments and then flip it. It's called debt flipping, right? Not always a scam. One guy raised $1.6 million in the first year. The other guy raised like $30,000. So he said, you're not very good at raising money. Let me raise the money. The one guy became the back office guy. The other guy became the front.
The guy that used to live at my current house is the back office guy.
Standard pyramid scheme. They raise money, they use the money that they raise to pay nice interest rates to the people that they raised money from previously.
Oh, and buy Bugattis and crazy houses and stuff.
Oh,
so,
yeah, that too. Wait, can we just say that they got caught? They're in prison.
One guy's 14, the other guy's like 20 years. The documents that I've read say that the fraud occurred between 2013 and 2018.
And when did you buy this house?
End of 2018.
And when did he move out?
He moved out in 2014.
So there was another owner.
There was another owner in the middle.
And the most fascinating part of this is
There's a safe in our master closet that I've never opened, and I think I recall a conversation with the previous owner that they said that they'd never opened.
because nobody knows the combination.
Who knows what he just left in the safe and never had time to get out of the safe because he was in court? If there's a safe in my house, I'm opening it like the week I move in. I'm hiring someone to open it. I want to see this safe, see if we can get this thing open, what's involved,
We have to
okay?
get this thing open.
Off to Jordan's house, but we forgot to mention another scam that you detected before putting any money in.
The erectile dysfunction mechanism.
I prefer to call it a device.
Here's what's amazing about this. There are multiple large venture groups that put money into this company when we were assessing it. We actually were involved with one of those venture groups, and because of our due diligence, they decided to pull out at the last second. I don't want to say too much about the company because they haven't fully busted yet. We were all potentially looking to invest, right? Like we were all ready to go on this.
I was not, but
I think you were.
So common sense. If you're meeting somebody and you're thinking about wiring them money or writing them a check, just put their name in plus something that makes you uncomfortable, like fraud.
This actually works better than paying for a background check, I found, in most
very
cases.
Easy. Yeah.
you were trying to connect with him on LinkedIn, and the fact that he didn't have a LinkedIn was a little bit of a red flag.
No, he did have a LinkedIn. This is what was so creative.
happened?
The creative genius behind this person. He had a LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
His LinkedIn, his name was slightly off in how he had it categorized, but he didn't put any of his former scam companies on his LinkedIn. And there were like 8 of those scam companies.
Yeah.
There were so many gaps on the LinkedIn, just selectively pulled out.
Yeah.
This was really well thought out. He had done this, I found, with numerous companies in his history where he was raising money for a company that disappeared shortly after. Raising money, disappeared shortly after. And at some point, when this next company fully goes down, we'll talk about it publicly on our channel and what this company was, who this founder is, who this fraud guy is. Regardless, anytime you make an investment, if it feels wrong, you should dig in deeper and don't be afraid to question that individual on things that you find. He was throwing such outlandish growth numbers to us that as soon as we found out what was happening, it all made sense. A lot of these guys like to raise money and then just close down the company.
Yeah.
It's more about raising money behind an outlandish idea and throwing in a bunch of ridiculous numbers that they're just pulling out of thin air. They get everyone excited. They have other big people invested in the deal. If they get even 1 or 2 legitimate investors, they will leverage that to get other legitimate investors.
Yep.
And this is on that point. Do not invest just because someone else who seems smart invested.
I went through with it because I saw my friend making all this money. All these big people were getting involved in Dallas, right?
That is literally how Bernie Madoff accomplished what he did. He was in a position of power, had prestigious investors, so other investors didn't do their due diligence. They just assumed that somebody else did.
It's
right?
human nature, and that's why these schemes work. You have to do what you feel is right, and just be cautious. And now onto the safe.
All right, Jordan, show us the safe.
Easy on the Christmas decorations.
I didn't hit him. I'm thinking maybe 1 or 2% chance something's in there. Oh, so you don't know the combo. That's the problem. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
If this works, this is the least secure safe in history.
If anyone has safe cracking skills, let us know down in the comment. We need your help.
I'll start calling locksmiths to see how we can get this open. They might need to like cut your wall open, remove it, and blow it up. This is the only safe probably ever found unopened by the owner of a top 20 Ponzi scheme, $500 million Ponzi scheme. Can we say that for a fact?
Right.
It's definitely not.
I can guarantee you they're not getting it open today. We're going to have to make this a two-parter, and next week we will get this thing open.
No! If enough of y'all want us to do this live so you can watch it in real time with us, we'll do a live episode with the locksmith and we can all see this at the same time. But we want to see everybody comment, open it live. Oh, if that's what you guys want, but you guys have to commit to coming to the live episode too. What do we do if we find money? Do we have to call the FBI?
We definitely have to call the FBI.
Other people's money.
Give it to
Oh wait, we get a reward, right?
I think we get a reward.
10% reward, isn't that what they do?
Should we share it with our audience?
If you're a subscriber at the time we open the safe and you comment on this episode, then you will get
10% of whatever we get to keep.
If we can figure it out, 10% of whatever we get to keep, which is probably going to be 10% of whatever is in it. It's possible there could be a 7-figure thing. It's very possible. Let us know what you think is in the safe. Do your research on this Ponzi scheme, on the guys behind it. Let us know what you think is in the safe, and let us know if you want to see it live.
We'll see you next week.